So picture this. It's the 7th century. You've got this new community, totally united by their faith, emerging from the Arabian Peninsula. And standing in their way, the Sasanian Persian Empire. We're talking a massive, ancient, super wealthy civilization. What happens next isn't just a battle, it's a collision of two completely different ways of seeing the world. Okay, let's get into it. This is really the heart of the story we're exploring. It kind of flips our whole idea of power on its head, right? Is real strength all about having the most money in the biggest army? Or is it something, well, something you can't see or touch? I mean, just look at the matchup. On one side, you've got the Persians. They have it all. Incredible wealth, a huge professional army, all the bells and whistles. And on the other side, the early Muslims. They've got fewer people, way fewer resources, but they're absolutely driven by this deep, unifying belief. It's the ultimate David versus Goliath story. But the secret sauce here, the real story, is all about the principles that guided that smaller group. All right, so let's set the stage for this incredible confrontation. The Muslim army, led by a commander named Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, is heading towards Persia, a place none of them have ever even been to. And their playbook? It's coming straight from the Caliph back in Medina. And this right here is just a brilliant bit of military strategy. The Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab had never stepped foot in Iraq. But get this, he tells his commander to set up camp with the open wilderness at their back. What does that do? It gives them a secure line for supplies and a safe retreat. While for the Persians, that empty desert is just this big, scary unknown. It's just a masterful use of psychology and terrain as a weapon. But here's the thing. Umar's most critical advice, the stuff he really hammered home, had almost nothing to do with battle tactics. He knew deep down that the army's real power wasn't in their swords. It was in their character, their discipline, which was a direct reflection of what the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, had taught them. In a letter to his commander, Umar basically lays out these 4 keys to victory. He tells him to pay close attention to his heart, his spiritual state. This wasn't just some nice thought. He saw it as the engine for the entire army. It goes back to that core teaching from the Prophet that all actions are really judged by the intention behind them. And this quote just says it all. Umar is literally connecting God's help to how sincere the soldiers are. Victory wasn't about just crushing the enemy. It was a direct result of their inner state, their purpose, and their ability to be patient. Now this just shows you their code of honor. Omar was incredibly strict about keeping promises, doubling down on the Prophet's teaching that a believer's word is their bond. He actually warned that breaking a promise, even one made by accident, would lead to defeat. And why? Because it chips away at your own integrity. And that, in turn, actually makes your enemy stronger. For them, honesty was literally a weapon of war. So before a single sword was drawn, they had to deliver a message. Following Umar's instructions, Sa'd sent a group of his 14 best and brightest men to meet the Persian king himself, Yazdegerd, right in the middle of his opulent court. And their whole approach was so methodical and clear. The Prophet had taught them never to ambush an enemy, but to give them 3 days to think things over. So that's exactly what the delegation did. They presented a very structured offer with a clear timeline. No tricks, no surprises. So, these were the 3 options they put on the table for one of the most powerful kings on earth. 1, accept the faith and become part of our brotherhood. 2, if you don't want to, that's fine. Pay a tribute, the jizya, and we will protect you. Or 3, if you refuse both, then we'll have to settle this on the battlefield. Just to be clear on this term, jizya, it was essentially a tax that non-Muslim citizens paid. In return, they were exempt from fighting in the army, and the state was obligated to protect them and their property. This wasn't something they just made up. The principle comes directly from the Quran. Okay, so after that meeting with the king, things really started to heat up. The top Persian general, a guy named Rustam, summons the Muslim envoys to his camp. His plan was to totally awe and intimidate them with this massive display of imperial wealth and power. You have to imagine this scene. Rustam is sitting on a golden throne, surrounded by pure luxury. And in comes this man from the desert, Rabi ibn Amir. He rides his horse right over the priceless carpets, gets off, and then starts poking holes in them with the tip of his spear as he walks toward the throne. It was a stunning, silent statement. All this stuff you value? It means absolutely nothing to us. So when Rustam finally asks him, "Why are you here?" Rabi hits him with this incredible answer. He says their mission isn't about conquest or getting rich, it's about liberation, liberating people from the tyranny of men and bringing them to the justice of God. It just completely changed the entire conversation. Then Rustam asks, "So are you their leader?" And Rabi says something that must have just blown the minds of the Persian court with all its strict hierarchies. He explains that in their community, a lesson straight from the prophet, everyone is equal. They're like one body. The promise made by the lowest soldier is just as binding as one made by the highest commander. Now, this is the part that really started to freak the Persians out. On day 2, they asked for a different envoy. So Hudhayfa ibn Mihsan comes, and he says the exact same thing, word for word. On day 3, they get another guy, a Mughira ibn Shoba, and guess what? He does it again. This level of unity, this discipline, it was something they had just never seen before. And this incredible consistency had a massive psychological effect on the Persian leaders. It started to dawn on them what the Muslims' real source of strength was. And these are the words of the enemy general himself. After seeing the envoys, Rustam told his own commanders, "Look, if this is how they are, if they all have one voice and one purpose, nobody's going to be able to beat them." He saw it crystal clear. Their real power wasn't their numbers, it was their unity. And that brings us right back to where we started. The story of al-Qadisiyah really makes you think about this huge question. It suggests that maybe the strongest force in the world isn't an army of gold and steel, but an army of conviction, a group of people bound together by a purpose and principles they will not break. What do you think?